Thanks a lot. We are going, actually this session is about ecosystem. And I'll try to explain you what we are doing in IBM that will enable existing 21 million of developers to start develop applications for blockchain today utilizing their current knowledge, right? So it's not learn something completely new and so, or on the other hand, why IBM blockchain is based on Hyperledger at Linux Foundation. We have heard today and saw that there is a lot of different implementation of blockchain idea with different blockchain technologies. Why there are so many? Because they address different challenges. Some are good for financial markets, some are good for bitcoins, actually for cryptocurrency, some are good for businesses, you know, some are good for assets transfers and so on. And they are private or public, permissioned, right? Or there are some consensus-based and so on. Actually, in IBM started everything in January 2015 when we were asked by Samsung to solve one of their challenges. And we said, okay, that sounds like a good project for blockchain, but we figure out that none of existing blockchain technologies can solve the challenges Samsung wants. And then we started to develop our own. And in August 2015, the project Open Blockchain project kicked off in IBM. And then in February 2016, we donated the code to the Linux Foundation and we launched the Hyperledger project. In June 2016, this is really quick, right? In 5 to 6 months, we already had the first production-ready code, and we did our internal project. So for IBM Global Financing, where we are financing a lot of businesses around the world, is based on these blockchain technologies. Then we were learning from experience, and then we released the version 06 for production, and it was based for new projects. And of course, we learned again that we have some issues here, especially because the aim was that you can use your normal or actually existing programming languages. And in blockchain, when you program your smart code, it needs to be deterministics. Okay, we learned something, and then in July 2017, we turned it a little bit around, and it's now the version 1 of Hyperledger available. So, but blockchain is not the answer to all of the questions. And this diagram is really showing you why you shouldn't use blockchain. Today we just talked why we would, you know, and it should and it must. But here are a lot of reasons why you shouldn't use blockchain. First of all, it's not so simple, it's expensive to run, and so on. So especially, you know, do you need to store state? Are there multiple writers? Can you use an online transaction processing programming application? If yes, then, you know, a normal ERP is good enough, you know, for businesses. Why should you move everything to blockchain? But if you have other parties that you don't trust, then you need somehow to put in the system that will force trust. And where you have the lack of trust, then you're then you start using blockchain. And if you have all unknown people, then it needs to be, you know, public blockchain. If you have known parties, like in supply chain, when you work with your suppliers, these are all known parties, and you enable them to join your private blockchain network with a certificate. And this is where IBM based its blockchain on Bluemix. It's a Hyperledger permissioned network. What are the use cases? This survey has been done in June this year in the US, and out of the 42 supply chain professional companies, 35% is already using blockchain for supply chain. So it's there, people are using it. And the other third is just about to use it, and the others are, wow, we also need to do it. One of the IBM experience is with Bosch. This is still with the Hyperledger 0.6 that has been done, and now we will migrate it to version 1. But it's running cross-continental and enables all of the suppliers to Bosch that the Bosch is actually ordering supply, and they are actually doing all of the transactions through the blockchain, including banks are involved and insurance companies, because the goods needs to be insured automatically when they are ordered or shipped, and the business needs to be financed automatically from the banks. So we also saw today from Pierre, right, that we are like in the third generation of the blockchain already, and here is where the Hyperledger project is. The third generation is because it doesn't force cryptocurrency and enable writing smart codes, smart contracts in normal languages that 21 million of developers already know. So you don't need to know a specific language like for Ethereum Solidity. You can program in Java, JavaScript, and so on, Go. It's also important, you know, that you don't need the cryptocurrency because it's a private network and you invite parties. And if somebody tries to jeopardize something, you just, you know, cancel his certificate. Cryptocurrency is actually the system that prevents people to attack those networks because it's just too expensive. Every transaction counts. With the, you know, you need to have a lot of cryptocurrency if you want to do the denial of service. In the private networks, you don't need that. And so these are the things. No native cryptocurrency. Of course, you can build one, you can program it, and it will run as an application. Ability to code in general purpose languages, and that you can build in consensus. And this is really important, that when you do the business transactions, that they can only be applied if you have consensus. Actually, the bank will loan you money if you have consensus and if it's within the terms and conditions. And as talking about the ecosystem, it's all about, you know, creating the playground for developers. Every developer can just, you know, start writing the application without need to deploy or apply to the blockchain network. When they test the application, they can just save the project and then deploy it on the real network. More about on developer IBM.com. And as we already spoke about some good projects on blockchain, let's see what Dubai is doing. Those guys are crazy. I know that Sheikh is saying on Wednesday we will have Saturday, and then it's a Saturday on Wednesday, right? It's a very simple democracy there. But they're putting on blockchain health records, diamond trade, illiquidity assets, ID verification, wills and contracts, loyalty points. So you will have a loyalty card going around the stores and you'll collect loyalty points. And they will also force all of the companies that are trading in Dubai to trade through Dubai blockchain, and the businesses will be automatically financed with Dubai banks. This is what is going on in the Sheikh's land. Okay, thanks a lot, and I hope I gave you some good directions.